In 1986, a rising star in nursing was found murdered in her Los Angeles condo. The case went cold for decades, filed away as a tragic burglary gone wrong. But the truth was far more chilling. The killer wasn't a criminal from the streets. It was a cop, a woman scorned, a secret buried within the very system meant to deliver justice. For over 2 decades, the case sat dormant, buried under the weight of false assumptions and overlooked clues. Detectives had long accepted the idea that Sherri was the unfortunate victim of a home burglary gone wrong. The bite mark on her arm, just another sign of a desperate struggle. The whispers about John's jealous ex-girlfriend, dismissed as hearsay. But in 2009, a cold case team re-examining the evidence made a stunning discovery. The DNA from that very bite didn't match any known burglars. It matched someone much closer to the badge than anyone could have imagined. Welcome to Criminal Files. Let's drive into the story. On the morning of February 24th, 1986, the quiet hum of Los Angeles life was shattered for one family forever. Sherri Rasmussen, a 29-year-old newlywed and respected hospital nursing director, was found dead in the condo she shared with her husband, John Redden. The scene was brutal. She had been beaten, shot, and left in a blood-soaked mess. From the beginning, the case looked like a violent burglary gone wrong. But the truth was far darker, more personal, and disturbingly close to home. Sherri was the embodiment of success and compassion. At just 29, she had already become the director of critical care nursing at Glendale Adventist Medical Center. She was intelligent, driven, and deeply loved by her family, friends, and colleagues. Her marriage to John Rutan, a mechanical engineer, was still in its early, blissful stages. But behind the scenes, cracks were beginning to show. Cracks born not of the couple themselves, but of someone from John's past, a woman who refused to let go. Police initially focused on the idea of a botched burglary. There were signs of forced entry, electronics scattered, and a VCR missing. Yet some things didn't fit. The condo wasn't ransacked. Sherri's BMW had been stolen and later found abandoned, but nothing significant was taken from the home. Most unsettling was the level of violence. Sherri had been shot 3 times, with the final shot delivered point blank into her chest. She also bore signs of a fierce struggle, bruises, bite marks, and defensive wounds. Whoever killed her wasn't just trying to steal, they were trying to destroy her. Despite these inconsistencies, detectives stuck with the burglary theory, and the case began to gather dust. Even in the early days, there were whispers about someone else, a woman from John's past, Stephanie Lazarus. Lazarus was not just John's ex-girlfriend. She was also a rising star in the Los Angeles Police Department. She had reportedly had trouble letting go of her relationship with John, showing up uninvited, confronting Sherri at her workplace, and even showing signs of jealousy. Sherri had expressed concerns to her parents, telling them that Lazarus made her feel threatened. But at the time, few imagined a fellow officer, one of their own, could be capable of such violence. Her name appeared only briefly in the original case notes, then vanished like a ghost. If you are still with us, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to our channel. Back to the topic. For more than 2 decades, the case remained cold. That changed in 2009 when a fresh pair of eyes from the LAPD's Cold Case Homicide Unit reviewed the file. The investigators noticed something strange. The original theory of a burglary didn't hold water. Why would burglars target a condo in broad daylight, kill so violently, and take so little? Then came the critical clue, a DNA sample from a bite mark on Sherri's arm. Technology in 1986 couldn't process it, but by 2009, DNA analysis had advanced dramatically. The sample was sent for testing, and the results were shocking. The DNA didn't match any known burglars, but it did match one woman on the LAPD roster, Detective Stephanie Lazarus. Now a veteran officer with 2 decades on the force, Lazarus was well-respected, well-connected, and totally unsuspecting. The cold case unit knew they had to act carefully. Lazarus, still armed and active within the department, could not be approached directly, so they devised a ruse. She was called in under the pretense of helping with a case involving art theft, an area she once specialized in. Once inside the interview room, detectives began to ask her about her relationship with John Rutan, and then about Sherri Rasmussen. Lazarus grew increasingly uncomfortable. She denied any involvement, but the walls were closing in. In June 2009, Lazarus was arrested for the murder of Sherri Rasmussen. The killer wasn't a shadowy intruder. It was Stephanie Lazarus, a decorated LAPD detective and John's former lover. She hadn't just slipped through the cracks. She'd worked within the very system tasked with solving Sherri's murder. For 23 years, Lazarus wore a badge, attended crime scenes, and built a life. While the woman she killed was reduced to a cold case file, The realization rocked the department to its core. One of their own had committed the crime and evaded justice right under their noses. The trial in 2012 captivated the public. Here was a decorated LAPD detective, standing accused of a cold-blooded, calculated murder committed out of jealousy. The prosecution laid out a chilling timeline. Lazarus, they argued, used her knowledge of police procedures to stage the scene, manipulate evidence, and deflect suspicion. She had the training, the motive, and the opportunity. The defense tried to cast doubt on the integrity of the investigation and evidence, but the DNA didn't lie. Nor did the testimony of those who remembered Lazarus's obsessive behavior and Sherri's fear of her. After weeks of testimony and deliberation, Stephanie Lazarus was found guilty of first-degree murder. She was sentenced to 27 years to life in prison. For the Rasmussen family, justice had been delayed, but not denied. After 23 years of anguish, they finally saw accountability for the brutal killing of their daughter. Sherri Rasmussen was not a random victim. She was targeted, hunted, and killed by a woman who wore the same badge meant to protect her. The case raised serious questions about internal bias, the blue wall of silence, and whether more could have been done sooner. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.